Hello, my name is Lemma Desta. I'm making this little video in order for you to understand the significance of this year's Nobel Peace Prize. According to the Norwegian Nobel Committee, which decided to award Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali this year's Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts to achieve peace and international cooperation, and in particular for his decisive initiative to resolve border conflict with neighboring Eritrea. The prize is also meant to recognize all stakeholders working for peace and reconciliation in Ethiopia and in the East and Northeastern African region. The committee also acknowledges the work that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has started the reform in Ethiopia. In this video, I want to give some background information by drawing your memories back to the war and why it started and the impact of the war, so that you could appreciate the meaning of this as we prepare to celebrate and to welcome Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed to Oslo, and thousands of people gathering to celebrate his achievements. Some people claim that this Peace Prize was premature. Others acknowledge that it was deserved. Seen from the historical background, it is one reason to celebrate and to acknowledge that this was quite an achievement. But also, seeing forward, it is even much more relevant to think about the meaning of this Peace Prize. For some of you who might know, Ethiopia and Eritrea used to be one country up until 1993. Well, 1991. On the 24th of May, after the 30 years long war, Eritrea got its independence from Ethiopia. Between 1991 and 98, the two countries enjoyed friendly relations, but on the May 1998, the war broke out, which lasted for 2 years, or 3 years, one could say. According to the estimates, there were about 70,000 people that lost their lives, and more than 700,000 people directly affected, and many more indirectly affected. According to some estimates, the war costed close to $3 billion for Ethiopia, and maybe of the same amount to Eritrea. On the 18th of June 2000, in Algiers, Algeria, the Ethiopian and Eritrean leaders agreed on cessation of hostilities, including allowing the UN peace mission and a commission that would look into the causes of the conflict and also border demarcations. From year 2000 to 2008, the UN mission in East Africa, or in between Ethiopia and Eritrea, the peacekeeping mission known by the name UNMI, served as a buffer zone in the border areas. But in 2008, the mission completed with an estimated cost of $1.5 billion. From 2008 to 2018, the two countries, or the border areas, sealed and tense, but the relations were no peace, no war, as Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has already said in his speech. On September 2018, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and Isaias Afwerki, they signed an intention and declaration of peace. Peace that restores the brotherly relations between these two nations that have a long history together, very intertwined history, culture, religion, and much more deeper relations. Looking back into the war and the tragedies of war, one would highly appreciate the importance of this agreement. But even looking forward, one would even appreciate more. Imagine 20 years from now when peace will be established very well and the borders restored and relations become fraternal, that Ethiopians travel to Massawa and Assab and to the coasts of Eritrea for vacation, and Eritreans travel all over Ethiopia. And imagine the amazing family reunion stories that we have witnessed as the relations were restored last year. The war was a very costly war with a huge toll on the economy of the two countries. Ethiopia's loss of access to the ports of Assab was meant that Ethiopia had to start all over, and freezing of assets and deportations and the conflict that lasted so long, causing many exile and dramatically changing political development in Eritrea as well. But all of that is changed now, and we'll hope that it will change more as the peace agreement was signed and the process has started. Some of the accusations or some of the efforts to belittle what has been achieved so far is that no one has, or people haven't seen the radical changes that they had expected. A peace process and restoration of friendship and working bilateral relations, working friendly relations between two neighboring countries. It will take time, and it needs. There are lots of things that is to be set in a framework of working mechanisms, and the two countries are committed to do and to achieve those things. And the peace agreement that was signed was the first step in the right direction, and it is a work in progress. And by celebrating the achievements, we are acknowledging that this was the right thing to do, and the international community and the communities of the two countries jointly celebrate peace. For those people who question and doubt and at all make remarks that would suggest that this wasn't anything, I would wonder whether they prefer that war was an alternative or no war, no peace was an alternative. But all of that is now forgotten, and the peace that we have received and have enjoyed is somehow overlooked. In this video, I'm appealing to whoever that listens that to think again the importance, the significance of this step. African nations solving their problems on their own by courageous and bold decision, considering the past but also looking forward to the future. And as such, this effort should be applauded and should be welcomed, and the Norwegian Nobel Committee has done a commendable job by recognizing this. Instead of saying nay, it is right for all of us to join hands and say, come, let us celebrate. Celebrate peace, celebrate reunion, celebrate the brotherhood and the sisterhood between these two nations. And as such, is a time for us to look forward and not backward, and to progress with peace and joint prosperity to the future, rather than bickering about who did what. This is the future. This is what we look forward as a continuity. And I'm happy and I'm excited to welcome Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in Norway, in Oslo, and to celebrate with him and with thousands of others, Ethiopians and Eritreans. And the music you heard at the beginning of this video was made by an Ethiopian musician who wished for peace. This was made 5-6 years ago, and that wish has come true, and prayers have been answered, and peace is in the process of being achieved. Let us celebrate the work and the achievements of both Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and the willingness and cooperation of Isaias Afwerki. And let us celebrate these two nations and the people of Ethiopia and Eritrea. Let us celebrate it together.